Hey guys, Michael Ray Newman here, Inside Edge podcast with the great Edwin Britt.
Yep.
And the monster millennial Kevin E.
Hello, hello. What's up, gentlemen?
Yeah, it's good, man. It's all good. Hey, I want you guys to listen to this podcast today. If you've turned on this, you've clicked this, I want you to understand a couple things right now. Make it about you. Make this podcast about you. You hear me say that a lot. Take a deep breath. Calm down. Make it about you. Pour into yourself. What's bothering you? What do you need? Think about those things. And then as you go through here, I want you to educate and validate. You have no choice but to do that, really, because anything that we do in life, if we go through any experience, you educate, which is simple. It means I learned something, right? Pretty cool. Validation, I think, is more powerful in a lot of ways because you have done it in the past, and you're like, oh, I validate, I do good. When somebody that's an expert in their field or somebody that is has achieved something that you're chasing, then you feel good about it if you're doing something positive with that. If you're doing something positive, that's a great thing. And then there's also times you do it negative, and you're like, uh-oh, better try to fix that, right? So as we go through the podcast today, EB, I want you to pour into them a little bit, and let's get this thing started with a little bit of wisdom from the great Edwin Britt.
Well, you know, when you talk about making it about you, something popped in my mind. I think we were talking about this earlier. You know, the boss is back on tour, Bruce Springsteen. And if you don't know who the boss is and you've lived an underprivileged life, you need to get out there and figure it out. But he's on tour now, and in fact, he's going to be coming to Dallas pretty soon, right, where we are.
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. But you said make it about you, and there was a cool song that he did, man, one of his live albums. It's called Raise Your Hand. If there's something you want, if there's something you need, you got to raise your hand, right? So raise your hand out there and let us help you out. We'd love to do that. Man, I love watching your post, Michael. You've been posting on your social media, and social media is such a critical part of building your brand, being able to reach and touch more people. Today I saw something that you posted, man, and I thought I was really digging it. You were talking about the possibility of belief and vision. Are we live? And you know, that resonated with me, man, because it does start with that vision and belief in yourself. We talk about that, and then it catapults you to where you can be and what you can do. But I love that, man. What was your inspiration today for that one?
I don't know, man. It's just really about making a decision every single morning. I don't care how bad you feel, and this is why I'll say make it about you. You get up in the morning, I never let my alarm – I usually wake up before my alarm, but sometimes I need to set it like we're getting up real early. I need to be able to get my self-care in, to work out, to pour into myself emotionally and spiritually and physically. I have to get up, I set my alarm. And most time I wake up before it. But if it ever goes off, I never, ever let it go off again. I never hit my snooze. I haven't done
snooze. No snooze for Michael.
For real. I haven't done that since in my early 20s. You know why? Because I heard Mr. Ziegler say one time he never hits his snooze button. First time he gets up right away, claps his hands and says, boy, it's going to be a great day today. And I literally have done that. I did that in my 20s when I couldn't pay my light bill, when my wife was pregnant, and I didn't know where I was going to be able to buy diapers. I really did that every morning. I got out. It's a decision. It's a decision that you need to make today to go out and do that. So when I do say make this podcast about you, make it about you. Make your life about you. How can I find the good? And I'm not always saying to be positive no matter what. You hear me say this all the time. It's having the right attitude. Sometimes it's a determined attitude. Sometimes a little bit pissed off. It's okay to play mad as long as you can play mad without letting your emotions get to you and making decisions not emotionally. We use a process to make those decisions. And you know our process, Kevin E. Edwin, Kevin E. Who's here? You know what our process is. I was looking at Edwin and I said Kevin E. And I know both of them know very well it's trust. Think, plan, and prepare. Relate, uncover the need. Offer a solution. Take massive action. Bam. That is what our process is. And every single day it starts with me making a decision to be better than I was the day before.
That's very cool, Mike. When you talked about making a decision, I made a note when you were doing that because we're learning from each other all the time too,
man.
Right? So that's how we encourage you to watch these podcasts. I mean, enjoy them. We have some fun. But, take a few notes. Go back and rewatch them, right? Mm-hmm. Binge them. It's a decision, but it's also a discipline.
Man.
And, we do a lot of coaching with people, and I was encouraging somebody. Accountability is a big part of coaching too. So if you don't have a coach, you need a coach. I don't think there are any two better coaches than right here at Edge Global Inc. Michael and I'd love to talk to you about that, but in order to go from where you are to where you want to be, you need a coach and you need accountability. So I was coaching somebody, and I followed back up with them on a specific plan of action. And they said, yeah, man, I'm allocating X amount of time every day to this green zone activity, right? And so that's part of the possibility of belief and vision, right? And then he added, and I said, great job, right? And he said, it's not my favorite part of the day, mind you. And here's what my response, Kevin E. I said, discipline is never popular, but the results sure are, right? Discipline is never popular. It's not something that you man, I love doing those extra 15 push-ups. Right?
No kidding.
After my arms are quivering, I really love doing that. But, man, you sure do like it when you're walking on the beach in the summer, man, and people are going, whoa, dude, what's going on, right? you got to be able to put in that extra time. But possibility, belief, and vision, those three things are really powerful, man. So you talked about that you make a decision every day. Think about this, guys. The single most important encounter you have every day is the one you have with yourself, and it's the first encounter that you have. It's not your spouse, it's not your dog, it's not your fear, it's yourself, man. So you've got to start with that powerful self-talk, and we want to encourage you here at Edge Global to own your first 60 minutes. Own your first 60 minutes. If you'll start owning your own 60 minutes, those first 60 minutes, whatever that looks like to you, and Michael talked about the physical, the spiritual, the time that he sets himself up for the rest of his day, and he's not going to compromise that, right? We can't compromise our first 60 minutes. Sometimes you got to be willing to get up a little early, stay a little later, depending on the pace of your day. But don't sacrifice those 60 minutes. Find it somewhere else. By the way, you are sacrificing 60 minutes somewhere along your way anyway, so don't sacrifice the most critical.
Let it be those.
I know it sounds like I'm preaching at it, man. I'm pretty passionate
Hey,
about
that's okay,
this.
and you're exactly right. You've said this from the front of the stage. I've heard you say it over and over again, and I love it when I have people come back to me and go, "Hey, man, I got 30 minutes in my 60, and I'm building up to it." And it's a learned result, and it is a discipline. And I want to tell you, think about this. I want you to think about this in your mind's eye, and we'll wrap this up as soon as you have something to come back on it. If you have anything to come back on, what's the best version of you? Think about that. What's your best version?
Wow.
I mean, I've seen Edwin in some pretty awesome places. I've seen him from the front of the stage. I see him sign books. I see him get pictures, and he stays there for all this time and have. But the best version of myself, I want to tell you what it is, and you made me think of it when you said something. The best version of me is the disciplined version of me. It's not me up on stage getting accolades. It's not me going, which I'm uncomfortable getting in a lot of ways, and I know a lot of you are, but it's not me winning. The best version of me is not me winning. That's not what it is. The best version of me is the disciplined version of me. The best version of me is when I stay in and stay at it, and I do those extra push-ups. The best version of me is when I do get up when I don't want to get up, because people are rewarded in public for what they've done in private for years. And the private of you, the one you lays out, the disciplined version of you, the hardworking person of you, making the right decision. There's no good or bad decisions, only the consequences of those decisions, making the decision to stay disciplined, to build what you want, not in short term, but in long term. That's the best version of you.
Yeah, man. Boy, that's so powerful. I got nothing else, man. That is phenomenal. That sinks in with me. I hope it'll sink in with our audience.
Yeah,
That was powerful.
Yeah, so ask yourself, like we said, we started this thing with make it about you. What's the best version of you? How disciplined are you? What are you doing right now that you knew if you gave up, you would be better? Because you're going for short-term growth opposed to lasting growth. Because this is fact right here. What you think about is what you attract. What we speak is what we become. But what you write down, that's what you achieve, guys. Go out, play hard, have fun, make it count this week, today, and every day. Start over being the best version of you. See yourself every morning and say, man, it's going to be a great day. I wonder what's happening good for me, guys. Play hard, like I said, have fun, and above all else, make it count. Thanks, E.
What you send out is what you get back, man.
All right.